Today, we're going to tackle one of the biggest and, frankly, most expensive paradoxes in business technology right now. The massive investment in artificial intelligence versus the shockingly low return.
So get this, according to a recent Deloitte survey, a staggering 91% of organizations are actually increasing their investment in AI. We're talking billions upon billions of dollars being poured into this technology.
But here's the kicker. Despite that massive spending spree, research from McKinsey shows that almost 80% of companies are seeing no significant impact on their bottom line. The money is flowing out, but the results? They just aren't showing up.
This right here is what we call the AI ROI paradox. So what is going on here? Why is there such a massive gap between the promise of AI and the day-to-day reality of its performance? In this explainer, we are going to break down exactly why this happens, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it.
Okay, let's dive right in. The whole disconnect, believe it or not, doesn't start with the machines. It starts with us. The biggest barriers are often less about the tech and way more about people and psychology.
You know, when researchers dig into it, they find really deep-seated fears that shape how we react to AI. And these very personal fears, they get amplified like crazy by huge problems inside the organization itself. I mean, fewer than 30% of companies have their CEO directly sponsoring the AI agenda. That leads to all these fragmented efforts, completely unclear strategies, and projects that have nothing to do with what the business is actually trying to achieve. And on top of all that, there's a massive shortage of people who even know how to run these projects in the first place.
But all those human and organizational issues are really just sitting on top of the single biggest, most foundational barrier of them all, the data, the quality of the data itself. And getting your data right in a big company is incredibly hard. It's trapped in different departments, stuck in old systems. Trying to get a single, clean source of truth is, well, it's almost impossible. It is the oldest rule in computing, and let me tell you, it has never been more true than it is for AI. An AI model is just a mirror. It reflects the data you train it on. So if your data is a mess, your results will be a mess. Simple as that. And if you need a hard number to prove it, here you go. A report from Gartner found that a massive 85% of all AI projects fail to deliver, specifically because of problems with their data, bad quality, hidden biases, or just not having the right information to begin with. And what's really wild is how little it takes to throw everything off. Research shows that just 20% data pollution, that stuff like incomplete, outdated, or messy data, can cause a huge 10% drop in your model's accuracy. This stuff is incredibly sensitive.
So the only real way to solve the garbage in, garbage out problem is with a business discipline called data governance. Now, this is not just some IT task. It's a strategic framework for how data gets owned, managed, and secured across the entire company. It is the absolute cornerstone of any successful AI plan. So, okay, if the problems are bad data, human fears, and companies that are totally misaligned, then the solution has to be a disciplined, strategic blueprint.
The organizations that are actually getting this right, they follow a really clear 4-step blueprint. They don't just, do AI. They define super specific goals, like let's reduce report turnaround time by 24 hours. They set up baseline metrics so they know if they're actually improving. They track all the costs, and they measure both the direct money they're saving and the indirect stuff, like making customers happier. This is what turns AI from a science experiment into something that actually drives the business.
So having a framework like that is one thing, but actually executing it day in and day out across an entire organization, well, that can be the biggest challenge of all. And this is where a whole new class of tools, sometimes called agentic AI, is starting to come in. These are AIs designed not just to give you an answer, but to actually walk you through complex multi-step processes. A great example of this is the Fig AI agent, which basically acts as a guided workflow engine to help you navigate the exact kind of complexity we've been talking about. And you can see right here how a tool like this maps directly to those core challenges we talked about. For that poor data quality problem, the agent uses guided recipes to help you connect data sources the right way. To deal with the talent gaps, it uses chat-based workflows so that people who aren't data scientists can still get things done. And for that deep human mistrust, it uses a human-in-the-loop process, which keeps people in control, and that is absolutely essential for building trust and getting people to actually use it. So the crucial point here is that this kind of agent-based approach attacks those foundational problems, data, skills, and trust, head-on. It doesn't replace that strategic blueprint we just talked about. It makes the blueprint doable by making all those complex data procedures clear, repeatable, and accessible to the people who need them.
Ultimately, unlocking the real ROI of AI requires a fundamental shift in how you think about it. It's not about buying some magic box off a shelf. It's about building a core business discipline, from the ground up, from data governance all the way to strategic execution. The potential is absolutely real, but it's not free. The real question is your organization ready to do the work?